It's the Rapid Capture Podcast.
Happy?
I'm happy.
Okay. So, welcome to River's Rapid Capture Podcast. Yes, we finally have an actual name. Last week we didn't have a name and it was fairly unknown what we were going to call it. But by the magic of just witty thinking, we have Rapid Capture Podcast.
There was a few arguments on WhatsApp over what the name should be. I do remember you getting a little bit shirty.
Well, yeah, just calling it the River Podcast was a bit boring, and then calling it the Photogrammetry Man Podcast was a little bit isolating to me. So not very fair. So now we've found a happy medium, and this is episode 2. So introductions. My name's Tyrone. This is Alex Harvey, the renowned Alex Harvey on LinkedIn that likes to throw grenades everywhere, causing chaos and mayhem in the world of scanning, photorealistic replication.
I just want things to look real.
Yeah, always.
It's not that much to ask. I just want everything to look as photorealistic as possible and be as quick and easy as possible to capture.
Yeah, the dream will be there one day. You'll get that. You'll get there. Last week we were having a bit of a discussion about some of the scans that we do with mobile scanning apps, looking at different things from Polycam. Then you've got other companies that do photogrammetry scanning apps. And then we were also talking a little bit about new technologies with Nerf and Luma Labs, who have their own Nerf mobile app. But to start off this little bit, let's start with what have you been scanning this week, Alex? What have you been doing in both? Have you been doing much Luma stuff, or are you still against it? Have you seen anything to give you a bit more info about Nerfs? What are your top three scans in terms of Polycam this week? And talk to me about Luma.
Well, the first bit, you just said photogrammetry, and there's some other apps for photogrammetry. I think we should talk about those so people can go and use them. For photogrammetry mobile scanning, you can use Polycam, but you can also use Reality Capture, have a mobile version. Do you remember when Epic Games bought Reality Capture?
Yeah.
And then they bought out a scanning app? We used it in Vegas. We tried to grab Vin Diesel.
Yes, I remember.
So you can you download that on the App Store now?
Don't know. I don't
was
think
that an
it's
invite
dropped yet.
only?
I think that was literally like a test flight beta app, and I don't think it's released yet.
Okay, well, there is two, they're the main two that I would say use. There's others like Scaniverse, and they use things like LiDAR, but for Polycam and Reality Capture, their versions, you don't have to have the LiDAR utilised at all. You can just use the photo mode, which I use. So yeah, I've done some scans this week. I've done a few. But look, we're not going to touch on this. We're not going to touch on the fact that I stole these from Polycam and put them on my Sketchfab.
Oh, yeah. It's debatable if you really want to do it.
I think we should talk about it.
You even did the one I pinched, which was the red camera, you thief.
Let's just talk about it quickly.
Okay.
There's 6 models on the screen now. There's a dinosaur, there's an army thing from John Davies, there's the Tower of London.
That's incredible. Like, whoever flew their drone, and they would have flown a drone over that, wouldn't they? When I saw it on Polycam, my mind was blown. I would have thought that would have been restricted airspace.
I know, but look, the main thing is it's on my Sketchfab account now for $19 for sale. It's had 15 views and no one's purchased it yet. But look, this is a stunning model. We've got to call out this little bit of a problem. I think it's a problem with Polycam app. On Polycam, unless you set your model to be private, people can add it to their own collection, download it on their phone, upload it to their Sketchfab for free. And most of my models are free to download.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to change them all, I'd have to go through 450 models and reset them all. So thanks to Polycam, they did last time when I was at about 200. They reset all of mine for me so I could go back and have them all set to be non-shareable. But this, I think Polycam, if you're listening, or we can send you a message, I think you need to change it. Because here, I've got 6 models. A dinosaur, John Davies's tank. All of these are stolen models that are now for sale on my Sketchfab, which isn't really very cool.
Just to kind of jump in for the people that are listening on just audio only, like the scans that we're looking at on the screen in the studio are, well, the first one of the Tower of London was an amazing scan of the whole area of Tower of London and utilising Polycam's mobile not mobile,
Polycam
their web access on the browser on a computer. You can upload those drone images and create an amazing drone photogrammetry model, and that's what it is.
Only
But-
250 images though.
But it's completely open to rogue people, such as Alex Harvey, or maybe a little bit myself, but I haven't stolen that one, to just own it, take the file off and load it to other places, when really that's a bit of a loophole for stealing, basically.
Yeah. I think it could be sealed up, that loophole. They could just set the default to be non-shareable and then allow people to share them if they want to. Just switch it around. I understand it for marketing and like social media. It's going to be better for them to share everything. Mm-hmm. But it should just be a favourites folder. Like you can favourite and add collections on Sketchfab. I think they should just lock that down a little bit more. Anyway, gone over that, done.
Cool. So top 3 this week.
Well, do you want to be
the ones that are yours?
Yeah, okay. But do you want top 3 that have now done really well on TikTok videos, or just top 3 that I've scanned?
Well, top 3 probably are going to work because of the popularity on TikTok. You'll probably favourite them more than others because they've blown TikTok up, maybe.
Okay, so we go to my TikTok, obviously Alex Tench. Go and have a little look. But the top 3 scans or things that have done really well on TikTok this week are the biggest one at the top is 734,000 views. This is the drone scan of Warwick. We should probably just play this.
This is what happens when we send an autonomous drone to scan a town using photogrammetry.
So if you are, again, listening audio only, go over to Alex Tench, all one word, ALEXTENCH, to go and have a look at some of these videos. That one, what was that one called?
That one was called, well, when we sent a drone to scan a town autonomously.
Yeah, so it's a scan of Warwick, isn't it?
Just quickly, history of it, yeah. The history of that is we're working on a 3D model of Warwick for a historical project with Warwick Museum, where we've taken 5,000 photos of Warwick and we're making a 3D model, 3D printing it, putting it into a museum, and then going in with an iPad so that visitors can walk in, pick up an iPad and hover over the 3D printed model, and it will pop out the photorealistic model and show the fire of Warwick taking its path as an animation over the model as well as voiceover. Just a better way to learn about things, I feel. But I took that video and sort of messed around with it a bit and put a little creaky voice on it and made it sound scary. And it does 700,000 views on TikTok. So really good, 270 comments. The next one down is Polycam again, but it's now not using photogrammetry. This was using their other tool inside Polycam, which allows you to do a room scan. This utilises LiDAR on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and you can literally walk around a house. Tyrone's going to start kicking off about this in a minute because he's a little bit of a... He did actually a comeback video, which is quite funny. If you go to Ty Kicks' channel, you'll see him dressed up in some fancy estate agent clothing. I was like, what the hell are you wearing? Anyway, the app allows you to scan a house and makes you a floor plan really quickly. You're going to say the measurements are...
Dubious.
The measurements are a little bit dubious, but I think it's rapid, and it did 303,000 views over the last week, 121 comments. Go and have a look at that if you want. But the next scan, the next one, say again?
Said he's not proud of his stats at all.
Oh, wait for the next one. The next one is, I just sold a chicken kebab 3D model online for $10. It took me 3 minutes to scan using a mobile phone. 1.9 million views. 133,000 likes, 800 comments. I'm definitely proud of that one. The fact that these have got so much views is because TikTok is so popular at the moment. And I think scanning is popular when you tell people they can scan their own stuff. But I just need to say, a lot of these come back through to LinkedIn, to Instagram, to Facebook, to email, and we now have meetings with people from these videos doing so well. So it's just another really good place for me to reach with the stuff that we're doing. But tell us about the measurements and your comeback video.
Yeah, so my TikTok is nowhere near as, should we say, active as Alex is on a daily basis, but mine is more, well... It's a random array of things, but I do like sneakers, as per the last podcast, you might be aware, and you'll see when it comes to my turn to show my scans this week what they are. But Ty Kicks is mine, TY_KIX, and you can go on there and have a look at some of the ones that I've done. But I thought I'd just do a little bit of a comeback to some of the scan videos just for fun, just to see. I remember... We were talking last week about being in Germany, and we were out there in Germany, and someone had done a do not do this video to one of Alex's scanning videos, basically claiming that it was theft. And obviously that's where the topic came in last week about sort of scanning things like art and stuff like that being potentially like stealing someone else's IP. Anyway, I thought I'd just do some spoofs. And obviously I know Alex, so it doesn't matter. And he knows that it's all to stir the pot, really. But with it, when it came to the room's floor plan video, I dressed up in some terrible sort of tweed-looking jacket and a shirt. And I pretended to be an estate agent, basically saying, don't risk it.
Let's see
It's
it.
not accurate and you will find out. And this video will show like a side-by-side with Alex's video and then me talking over it.
Hopefully with a bit of volume.
As far as I'm concerned, these apps are the most inaccurate apps. After being in the real estate industry in the Cotswolds for over 14
Might put an
years,
accent on.
nothing
What is he wearing?
replaces general measuring, and these apps are just so inaccurate. Don't do it. Don't use them. Terrible.
And that one, the big thing on the front of it says, don't risk it. So there's my my staged comeback just for a bit of fun.
I saw that in bed this morning. I was like, what are you wearing? Anyway, that was my top 3 scans. We won't even talk about the Guide Dogs to the Blind because I think we mentioned him in the last podcast.
Yeah.
But he's on 595,000 views.
You need to bring up my Sketchfab then.
Okay,
now.
Sketchfab
Controller.
models.
So back to mine, my top 3 for this week, because I have actually been doing some photogrammetry this week, not just Luma scanning, as much as I enjoy testing Luma's app. And I know that a lot of people out there will be really interested to know how you can get on to Luma. It is very much of an invite only, so you've got to go to their website, apply, register, and they will send you an invite at some point in your email to be able to test it. So that's the way to do it if you really want to have a little go. But yeah,
On Luma, but this is Polycam stuff you're looking at now.
yeah. Just
Look
just
at his
to say-
fancy Sketchfab channel,
So
all posh and colourful.
Beautiful. Look at this for my scans for this week.
God's
So
sake.
I've been scanning a little bit of graffiti. Didn't know if you knew that. Got
Well,
a couple of
no.
graffiti images.
Should we bring it up full screen?
Yeah, this is like this is one of my top 3. I
This
actually
is
really like
£9. This is $9.
$9. Crime Think.
Crime
To describe it a little bit, it's a weird looking robot. Looks like a police robot with like a glass helmet. With
Where
a
was
brain
it in the
floating
world?
it. This was in Birmingham. You can see the beer can on the floor. It's really
Yeah.
classy. That Carlsberg beer can. And if you want to see this, you can go to my Sketchfab, which is Ty_Kix KIX, TY_KIX. And
Looks
yeah,
good.
Think Crime. It's came out really well actually. Really colourful. And yeah, that was proper. That was
iPhone
proper
capture.
photos.
iPhone capture, no LiDAR.
No LiDAR, photos only. Capture on Polycam.
Looks good. You can have that on LED volume.
Yeah. So that's one. That's
Okay,
one of them. Looks
part
good.
one.
I will probably go now to the blue one because
This
this
one?
is the basically a sort of a newer version of the Back to the Future shoe. This one can actually do itself up, and I have got the shoe in real life.
The Marty McFly shoe that goes. Zzz, zzz, zzz.
Yeah, it will self-lace. It will do itself up. Surprisingly, have you seen this one yet? Actually, in real life.
I don't think so. You had a different one that was a lace-up one.
Yeah, so I've got a couple, but this was the only one that I've got that is actually in the Back to the Future mag colour. So it looks like the same colour scheme as that shoe.
Yeah.
So one of my favourite shoes in terms of just a techie shoe. And I thought, I've got to scan this. It's not my best scan.
Have you ever
but-
worn it?
Yeah, I've worn it a few times. But the only downside to that one is it's not the most comfortable. I'm not going to lie.
It looks like you've been doing your painting and decorating in it.
But that's what was on the mag shoe.
Hmm.
If you look at the Back to the Future shoe, when he puts them on his feet and they self-tie up, that's like that speckled, weird paint effect that this shoe has, which is it's all grey with like a bit of a blue icy sole, which I don't think that the Back to the Future shoe did. I can't remember. And there's 2 buttons on the bottom of the sole that will tighten, loosen
Oh,
them.
but we can't see the bottom of the sole.
No, not that bit. Just the midsole, should we say, the grey bit in the middle.
Oh.
And then the
Oh,
top
here,
is like
these
a
two.
mesh. It hasn't got any laces that you can visually see, but when you press the buttons, it just zips up and gets tighter.
And you press the buttons on the side here.
Yeah. Or you can use your phone app as well, or
yeah,
an
yeah,
Apple
yeah,
Watch.
that's cool.
So it's it's pretty limited now. You're not going to be able to get hold of this one now. Which
But is your next scan going to be a trainer as well?
yes, it is.
If it is, I just want to... Wait, show me which one you're going to talk about next then.
Well, it was between the NASA Vans and the Yeezy Quantums, the two in the middle, actually. So the one in
This
red
one?
or the one in grey, yeah. And I was probably going to turn around to you and go, which one do you think looks better?
Well, we're going to Florida in a few days' time, in a week's time. So
Next
maybe we should
Friday.
choose the NASA one because we're
Yeah.
probably going to go to see another. Well, we might not see another rocket launch this time, but we're going to go to the Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah.
Did you buy these from there?
No, I got these in Birmingham again a long time ago. These are a good few years old.
Scanned with Polycam.
Scanned with Polycam. This is an all-white collaboration shoe. Vans, a classic pair of the Vans that have the NASA branding on the side. John F. Kennedy, is it Space Center on the side of it as well, and it's got the American flag patch on the back that you can change if you want to. It's got Velcro.
You could have a river patch on the back.
I could put a river patch. I could put any patch on the back of it if I really wanted to.
You need to touch on that story you told me quickly about why you love trainers so much and what happened with the football boots when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, did I not say that last week?
No, you didn't say the actual football bit of it.
Okay. Well, yeah, the football boots thing's just a contributor, really. It's not the whole reason, but yeah, the fact that when you're told that you,
As a child, your mum
as a
said to you,
child- yeah, as a child, my mum said to me, "You're not having expensive trainers because you won't look after them." That's pretty the age-old saying for a lot of parents. Although maybe these days not so much because kids get everything they want. But I wasn't such a brat. Well, my mum would say I was. But yeah, I remember needing some football boots for school, and my mum bought me a pair of football boots from Woolworths. So
he told me that in an airport and I was laughing a lot.
yeah, so as you can imagine, they were not exactly proper football boots by any means at all. The boots in question were literally just molded rubber studs that wore down after like 2 minutes. And yeah, don't recommend ever getting boots from a place that really doesn't really sell footwear.
But that's interesting because then after then you've gone crazy and now you own hundreds of pairs of trainers and
Yeah.
you're well into them.
Yeah, and partly because obviously being older and having more money, I can choose to do it. But I never really, like, I did a little bit when I was like in my sort of late teens, 20s. Then I sort of like stripped back, and then probably into my 30s, I've kind of gone a bit ballistic again. And then I set up my own YouTube channel, Ty Kicks, and surprisingly, hence why I'm called Ty Kicks on pretty much everything that you'll see. And I would spell it Kick. I don't know if you know this story, with an S, obviously. Kicks.
But it's KIX.
But it's been taken already on YouTube. That's why I had to do it in a different way.
Okay.
So Ty Kicks, spelt the right way, Kicks, is gone. So think KIX, easy.
What about you could just change channel to Ty Moan?
I don't want to, though, because I don't moan. You always do videos saying I moan, and I definitely don't. And do you know what? I
thinks
got
I
a few
moan.
bits of feedback saying that Alex needed to cheer up a little bit on the pod, so he seems a bit happier this week.
Maybe it's because I've been scanning quite a lot because I got the views up this week.
All right, so let's shift on a little bit. Let's go. What's new with you in the world of Nerf?
Well, when I first tried Nerf, we were in Germany and you put it on my phone, got me an invite by, if you want to sign up, Ty mentioned it, but go to lumalabs.ai and then sign up, get yourself a code because it's not out yet. Get it on your phone and you can give it a go. But Nerf is different to photogrammetry. So there's what was the name of the podcast that was really good recently that told us about the difference between photogrammetry and Nerf?
Cloud Point, I think, is the YouTube channel, and they had two people on that were talking about photogrammetry and Nerf technology, and then they had obviously I think the presenter guy. So there's three in the interview, and it's really interesting. Probably leave this in the links of our YouTube videos when this goes onto YouTube, so you can go and watch it if you want to. Really explaining the differences and how the likelihood is that they'll probably work side by side as opposed to anything overtaking anything. But carry on.
Yeah, so then I got it on my phone. I did a few scans, and the first thing that I scanned was the car outside your house, which was okay. Like, it uses a different type of thing. It's a bit like, I would say, baby photogrammetry. It gives you a very guided method of doing it. In this video, you'll see on the table, look at the guide that it gives you. So if people are listening, it gives you a bit of an augmented reality guide as you walk left and right round, making sure you do all the coverage of the,
like
in this case, a tyre.
Purple
A
rings,
wheel.
but it's not circular, is it? It's almost like it's like a square with rounded edges.
Yeah.
And it's got different tiers, haven't it? So it starts off purple. As you go around it, it starts to highlight it up as like a blue, so it knows that it's captured that angle.
And then it allows you to look at it afterwards. You processes it. We're not going to get into that. We had a big argument in the car about pre-processing, training nerfs and all that. But
lot to do.
it basically processes it in the cloud and then gives you a model to look at. It's okay. There's no upload feature straight away. I like the upload feature to Sketchfab out of Polycam, but you've got a workaround for that. After you finish scanning with Luma, what do you do? Download it? You have to download the OBJ?
Yeah, so you can download the OBJ file or the GLTF file, and you can literally just drag the file onto Sketchfab and it will upload it. The only thing is it may have some artifacts that are not really what you want. If you're doing the bounding box, like what Alex was talking about, where you get the box, you set the item up, and you set the box to around the item, then it knows that's what it's focusing on. But there is a free-form capture method where you can literally just go around and start capturing willy-nilly without it being in a box. But the likelihood is you're probably going to have even more artifacts. That's the problem. So I've had to then bring my OBJ into Blender and crop it, which is frustrating. And going back to that necessity for us mobile scanners to be able to have an app that can allow us to crop. And
that's a pain workflow then.
It is a pain workflow, but then, I'm going to just deviate away from Luma for 2 seconds to let Alex give you a bit of news about Polycam and their Android app.
Oh, look at that.
What's
So
going on there?
So-
Just for context, please tell the people listening what I've been asking for from Polycam
Oh, yeah.
on iOS for a very long time.
So funny. So yesterday, Polycam sent me a message and said, we're releasing a new update on Android that's going to allow for cylindrical crop. And I could not wait to screenshot my phone and send it to Tyrone, because he was asking for cylindrical crop instead of a square bounding box crop for about 6 months.
Longer.
And then now they're
Yeah.
releasing it on Android first. So if you want to flip it around though, Android didn't have crop tool forever, and it didn't even have video export forever.
Yeah.
So this is like a bonus for Android users. All you Android lovers out there and Polycam users, you can stop commenting now on these TikTok videos, and you can just get out there and start cropping and making videos, and you can feel just the same as the iOS. And for a little while, you'll have cylindrical crop instead as over the iOS users.
Yeah, and the downside for you guys is you won't be able to crop things straight lines. But I do wish I had a cylindrical crop for iOS. So
You should get an Android phone.
Polycam has been around for how many years now? 2? I'd say nearly
About
2.
that, yeah.
Get your act together. Just get your act together. I love it. I love using the app, but I understand it's a lot of people power to get these things sorted out. But how can you get a circular crop on bloody Android and not on iOS? And Luma, you need to get a crop for your OBJs as well. So I know that they're beta testing. It's a beta testing phase for that app. So Polycam doesn't have an excuse.
Anyway, that's a funny bit of news. I like that.
Cool. Okay, so you've done a couple of scans with Luma. I've done a couple of scans with Luma this week. I've been doing some more. Actually, I've been going back through some of my drone footage that I've had in the past and loading that to their desktop version of their app.
Frustration alert.
Yeah.
You used to be able to put in video into reality capture 75 years ago.
I know, but
Why
you
is it
tell
such
me-
a big new thing that Nerf can do it?
Can you tell me how much Reality Capture's license is?
Well,
Whereas
it's free.
Nerf was free.
No, reality capture's free to chuck stuff into.
Yeah, but not to export from.
To export a model, you have to pay per model or have a license.
There
I
we go.
agree.
So at the moment, it's free on Luma to do that all, but it's a different file anyway. And actually, it's more, as we've learnt from that Point Cloud podcast, or whatever it was, that we know that Luma and Nerfs in general are capturing scenes. They're capturing environments. The intent really initially was that you could utilize that in maybe a self-driving car to give it a bit more awareness of, its surroundings. You can feed it with data before it's ever been down that road kind of thing. And the better the scene, the more information the scene, the more it can learn. And it wasn't necessary for creating solid models. So that's for another podcast, and I think that we probably will go over that as Nerf improves, understand what we can do with it. But I just wanted to test the boundaries of drone capture and using some of my old video and seeing what I could do.
Yeah, so that's the same as Polycam Web. You take a video, load it onto a website called Luma AI or lumalabs.ai,
Yeah.
and then it extracts photos from it and creates you a Nerf scene.
And just to be clear, Alex, are you affiliated or do you work for Polycam?
Absolutely no, I do not work for Polycam. I've got a company called River.
Yeah, and I don't work for Luma nor Polycam. So
It's-
yeah, we work for River. River is our home, shall we say, in terms of what we do with our stuff. And
A lot of people online were saying,
Just to give
you
everyone
lot
aware."
are pushing Luma and Polycam all the time. But we're only doing that because other apps that I've used in the past have been absolutely dog toffee.
whatever dog toffee is.
I don't want to swear, so I'll try to not
Yeah,
swear.
yeah. So cool. Right,
Wait, just quickly.
Go on.
Training Nerf.
Oh yes. Well, we don't know what that means, so
Is
we can't get into that until we find out.
We can quickly just mention
No,
it.
you're just going to say don't like it because
Yeah.
it's a fancy word for saying process it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
somebody who's listening
Yeah.
knows why it's called training the nerf, please let us know.
You know, when you're in reality capture and you press reconstruct model, it gives you a little message and a progress bar that says reconstructing the model. And there's a lot of things going on in the background. Call it AI, call it coding, call it algorithms, whatever you want. I'm frustrated that people use the word training the nerf like it's doing something magical.
Well, it
Sketchfab,
is.
what
It
they say
is.
on
It's
Sketchfab.
incredible. Yeah, Sketchfab. You don't comment on that saying the little elves are building your bloody model.
Brilliant. I love that. Alban, that's amazing. Keep doing that. That's funny. Don't make up a fancy marketing word. Training the nerf.
I like
Hopefully
it.
someone's
I think
going to
it's
tell me
cool.
what that means.
I
But
hope Polycam start using it.
it should just say processing.
And then Alex's head will explode.
Yeah.
Oh no, PG is training now.
Mm.
Right, so let's switch it up. We've done enough talking of that in the last two podcasts. We've got some new headsets in the office.
We're going to talk virtual reality now.
Yeah, I think we need to shift away from 3D models and talk more about how we can enjoy them.
We're going to talk about where we went yesterday.
Yes, in a little bit. Let's start. Let's go through the headsets that we've got that
On show this week.
Yeah, that are on show this week, that are brand new in the office, and we will come to the one in the centre last for that reason to then segue into our visit from yesterday.
So if we're talking historically,
Yeah, so let's start with what we do at River and who we associate ourselves with the most.
Pico.
So Pico is owned by ByteDance, who own TikTok.
which we're also live streaming on now.
Yeah, and they have had headsets, but mainly have been for business for quite a long time. But they have decided to come in and challenge Meta. Meta Quest 2 has been probably the biggest selling headset commercially. You can go and buy one for
But this one came
£400.
out first.
No, Meta Quest 2.
Okay,
not
okay,
Meta
okay.
Quest New. Pico have had business-related headsets, but they have finally taken Meta to task, and they have given them a run for their money with a commercially available VR headset with amazing new technology. This is the Pico 4.
It's amazing.
You can buy this on the Amazon store now. You can buy it from other outlets as well. I'm just letting you know. And it is how much is it? Is it $379.99 for this headset? And it's got a really slim profile. It's smaller than the
Colour pass-through.
Quest 2. Quest 2 has black and white pass-through. This has got colour pass-through, although it is mono. And they're going to have a decent games library as things go on. It's got a really good strap with a battery in the back. We work a lot with Pico, and they were nice enough to send this over to us to try out, which is pretty cool. What's the best bit about that headset, would you say?
It feels so light. The colour pass-through is nice, although it's mono. But this is going to allow us... Is this what we're taking to Vegas?
Most likely, yeah.
So we're going to Vegas in January to take our crime scene investigation software, which is going to be on this headset, to have on the Pico stand so that we can show people what it's like and give them demos inside that crime scene. In CSI, you get to build your own crime scene, call in your other students or colleagues, and do what you would do in a forensic investigation.
Why has it gotten slimmer? Why are all these headsets on this table now an advancement in VR? Because whatever anybody else might have ever seen,
Look
the
at it.
likely is they've never seen these types of headsets and why they're so slim now.
Pancake lenses.
Brand new technology.
Yeah, pancake lenses. We saw it first when we were in Vegas a year or two ago on the Pico stand. They had that tiny little glasses that looked a bit like that one.
Do you remember the Panasonic ones? They look like steampunk glasses.
Yeah, but they were good for airplane video.
Interesting looking headsets with very slim lenses. And just to put into context, like VR forever in terms of current VR has had to deal with the fact that they've needed to have lenses that would kind of mitigate certain issues with the LCD panels that are inside them. So they've had to use these things that are called Fresnel lenses that are quite fat, and they've got these kind of like rings inside them to try and sort of like basically mitigate certain things that are not great about VR. And now they've come up with these advancements that are allowing these things to just get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. Yeah. And this is a prime example. Really big pancake lenses on them as well. Super
comfortable. The pancake lenses allow it to be a lot smaller and cool having the battery in the back still. Pico, I remember they did really well with that on the previous headset.
This one's white, isn't it? And it's got this nice glossy black front with the camera, that pass-through camera on the front of it in the middle. You've got the 4 tracking cameras around the outside edges, and then the new controllers, which are pretty cool looking. And then, battery in the back of the head strap. So, if you want to have a look at it, this is the Pico 4. It's available now. You can get it in 2 sizes in terms of storage.
It's not the Enterprise one?
No, so the Enterprise one won't be available until the back end of the year, as far as I'm aware. This is currently only available in UK, Europe, and parts of I think Asia, and it may launch in the US in the future, but it's not available in the US. But I've heard that you might be able to sneakily import some. So if you really do want one in America, you probably can get one.
I like it. Let's take it to Vegas.
Yeah. So next, this is my new puppy to play with.
What, you've got a new toy as well?
Yeah. So this was announced a little while ago, probably about a month or 2 ago. This is the new Meta headset. This is the Meta Quest Pro. If you don't know anything about it, then it's been something that's been on the sort of like top secret Project Cambria. It's been like that for how long now? Probably about a year and a half. Yeah. People sort of like waiting for the next generation headset from Meta.
Giving a bit of history.
Yeah, so Alex is holding a Quest 1. That was from Oculus. Then Meta acquired Oculus. Is that right?
No, I don't think so.
I thought they bought Oculus.
Oculus just changed Sorry.
Yeah, didn't...
Facebook bought Oculus.
Yeah, Facebook, then they changed their name, didn't they, last year? This
is when it was Oculus.
So, just context, isn't it? Facebook were the original company, and then Mark Zuckerberg decided that he wanted to build the metaverse.
This needs a bit of a clean, but this was the Quest. Look at the IPD adjustment, actual manual IPD. That's actually quite handy to do it manual like that. Ty's just sorting out the GoPro that's fell off the table. Was that because I was jumping around?
Yeah, but...
No. So this was the Quest 1. Was it Quest 1? This was the black one before the white one came out. But the one that Ty's got in his hand, or the one he's just been looking at now, is absolutely stunning. I had my first go in a coffee shop where he was showing me some of the content. So that definitely not got a red light on.
Yeah, but it's rolling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So So that was the first standalone, wasn't it?
It's the first inside-out tracked.
Yeah.
Before this, it was a Rift, and the Rift had to have trackers on the table attached to a PC. This is the first one without a PC.
Yeah, and then the controllers are over there. What would they look like?
Oh, these were pretty honking, but they're still nice.
They got like a big ring on them that helped to track the controllers to the headset with the cameras.
It was a big step because it was the first time you could walk around a room without being attached to something and get tracking.
Yeah.
There's no external things looking at the headset. The headset's looking out at the walls to get its movement.
Yeah. So this one has got a lot of those elements to it, but they've got a lot more advanced since. So obviously they brought out the Quest 2, which was a white one, had a more advanced processor in it. It was more capable of rendering graphics.
On the floor there, yeah.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it's hidden inside a box.
Show me that and you carry on.
Yeah, so you got this one. This was the sequel to that one.
Yeah, so it goes this one, then this one.
Yeah, and that's the one that's still available now, about £400 UK, $400 maybe. And that is what's competing with the Pico 4, but does not have pancake lenses.
Yeah, still a bit fat as you look at it. Not massively fat.
But then look at this one. Let's have a look at this. So this does have pancake lenses, considerably slimmer, and also has colour pass-through, but the difference with the colour pass-through compared to the Pico 4 is that this one has colour pass-through that's stereo, so it's 3D. You're able to see depth with it, And because of that, you also can have mixed reality. And having a look at it, unlike traditional headsets where they've got this foam padding that sort of like sits around your face when you're actually in virtual reality, this does do both. So you can do virtual reality and you can do mixed reality, and you can have a look at our beautiful models in the real world, so to speak, and you don't necessarily need to have that padding around it all, blocking out the light, because you want to see your peripherals. So really cool, very expensive.
It looks like a HoloLens killer.
Yeah, and it's got the battery in the back. It's got this sort of pad on the front of your forehead. So on top, it's all black with this really amazing shiny front with 3 cameras on the front, 2 on the sides, and then there's a load more cameras inside because it can do eye tracking. So it tracks where your eyes are looking, and it also does facial tracking, so it knows what your mouth's expression is doing. So if you're in some sort of social app, there are different ones on these platforms. You can basically talk to people, and your mouth is moving accurately to what you're doing.
What's the cost of it though?
It's 1,500 quid in the UK, so it's like 3-4 times the price of a Quest 2, but it was launched for enterprise. It was supposed to be more for businesses. It was always aimed at that side of it for productivity. Be able to use it. You can have like multiple mixed reality screens.
You showed me that. That was amazing for video editing.
Yeah, really, really cool for doing video editing, or if you are someone that is literally on your computer all day long and you want to have these enormous screens instead of just your laptop screen. It can track your keyboard as well, which is pretty cool. Loads of stuff that I could talk about all day long about this headset. It's amazing, but it's very expensive. And I feel like it's currently a bit of a dev kit. I think
that's one for the future. Yeah, it's definitely expensive.
One thing just to add before we go is the controllers. It doesn't have the ring like on the original Oculus Quest. It has 3 cameras that track it instead of the ring. And very cool.
No, but the camera's amazing.
Yeah.
Because the same inside-out tracking that came to the headset to allow it to move around now allows you to put a controller behind your head and pull the trigger. So you can shoot people behind you if you're in that sort of game.
Really cool. And then finally, and probably the oldest one actually of the bunch, but has had a little bit of a revamp by the sounds of it.
Hats off.
We had...
a visit.
We had a visit. We had a visit yesterday. Oops, we're getting some noise. We went for a visit yesterday to HTC Vive's headquarters in the UK.
Slough.
In Slough, they did an enterprise event where we got to go and have a look at their different headsets. Vive are someone that we've used for quite a long time with River's fire investigation software, which is photorealistic fire investigation, giving you the opportunity to go in and find out how certain fires happen based on certain scenarios.
They made that 3 years ago.
3 years ago, all created with photogrammetry. So,
that was on the Vive Pro. First Vive and then Vive Pro.
Yeah.
Allow you to do room scale investigations.
Yeah.
But this was what they gave us yesterday.
Yeah.
We did a little spoof video as well because we got a goodie bag. We got a goodie bag each as we sat down on our chairs in the event, and we did a little video afterwards, jokingly saying that we got given a free headset in the bag.
Yeah, we didn't, but it was nice to sort of play on people, and people were like, I didn't get one in my goodie bag, kind of thing. But yeah, this is a 6 degrees of freedom headset. And what that means is that you have the ability to move around, and you can pick things up, and you can do that type of stuff as opposed to something that's very static. But I think in the early days, it still needs to be tethered to a power bank, which is a bit frustrating. And that comes off the side of the arms of the headset. But it's closer to glasses than any of these headsets now, isn't it, really? And it is slim.
Really thin. But yeah, the battery is a bit of a
pain.
Problem. But you think you've got something, you showed me something yesterday where there might be another one of these coming out with the battery on the back.
Yeah, so they may be bringing a new one out soon.
And then they've got another headset called the Focus 3 at the moment.
Yeah, that's more like the Quest 2 in terms of its form factor. Doesn't have the pancake lenses.
And inside-out tracking.
It does have inside-out tracking. It's actually... I would say that's Vive's first inside-out tracking headset that really, I would turn around and say, is actually really good and probably on par with all these other ones. And the one thing that it is more for enterprise, but it has hot swappable batteries that Alex doesn't like because
Maybe-
you have to turn it off
Yeah,
to
let's
swap
talk
them.
about that. Hot
Whereas
swap
with
batteries.
everything else, it's just plug in a battery bank kind of thing.
Hot swap batteries, I want to be able to pull the battery off and put another one on without turning it off.
Yeah, but that's where the power comes from.
No, put a little battery inside the headset to cope with the little battery off for a minute bit.
That one don't. That's the same. If you unplug the battery bank, it's dead. So this
I agree.
this
hot
is
swappable should be hot swappable.
I would say like that. What I had experience with this headset, and I had an opportunity to have a little play around with this headset last May, was that it had to be tethered to a phone. They've now made a little remote, and it doesn't necessarily need the phone. It's got onboard storage. It is the oldest of the bunch, but obviously in terms of technology, having some really thin lenses in it. It is a cool device, but I don't think it's that cheap. I think it's like minimum price is like 500 quid for one of these as
I
well.
thought it was a bit less when they told us they sell them in bulk. They can sell 20 in a box, so we
But-
might make a box for them.
Alex loves his new shades, and he'll be doing a video on TikTok about his new shades very soon.
Oh yeah, we should do that. But tell
Let's-
us quickly about what frustrates you with headset photos on the internet. Can I wear this on a push bike and ride along wearing it?
Not unless it's got some decent pass through. You don't need to do that, but yeah, like my crusade on LinkedIn at the moment is very much about seeing people who are posting imagery of VR that's dated. I really don't like it. I feel like nobody is going to do that for other technology. You're not going to put a big old box TV as your advert for amazing TV on Netflix.
Or a Nokia 3210 for
Yeah,
your
so-
new mobile phone?
And then, like, you know, you get someone going, oh, we just picked it because it was a stock piece of, photo for what we were advertising. I'm like, no. Anyone that you're advertising to that sees that headset that knows about VR will dismiss you instantly thinking you don't.
Yes, yeah. It makes the
know-
person that posts the advert look like they do not know what they're talking about.
They don't know what's current and that they're using old tech. Now, don't get me wrong. If we look at a couple of years, you could probably say 3 years, 2 years, they're the cut-offs. If they're older than 4 years old, then bin it.
There's
Get
a big-
rid of those images. Do not use it. That is not VR of today.
The most frustrating one is the Gear VR push bike photo.
and it's terrible, and we do need to find that image. It's really, really terrible. So, but yeah, my pet peeve. It's just my LinkedIn pet peeve at the moment. I will be doing that crusade.
If you go to Tyrone's LinkedIn page, you can see
Oh, there's
multiple posts of
There's
this.
one. Look at those really shocking headsets. Is there a mobile phone in that one? Is that like a Gear VR back in 2016 or whatever it is?
Where's your post? Anyway,
I think that's
view
the
profile.
most recent one anyway. But yeah, I don't enjoy seeing really shocking looking headsets being advertised for current technology because you can see like the hinge where it's like that's where they flap out the front and put a phone in it. Look, there's a load of headsets. So here's an example for anyone that's listening. They're like generic boxes strapped to people's faces.
You used to buy them from the garage for $9.99 and put your
These are
mobile phone inside them
plastic headsets.
75 years ago.
Stand like a foot away from your face. Now, don't get me wrong. There's two images on this
There's a
one.
Quest there
That's a
and a
Quest
Rift.
and a Rift, but it's the middle image that's a Gear VR.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Oh, that's bad.
This is a terrible one. Like this is
VR
like,
for health.
like for health and for
Let's not-
the elderly, and you're definitely getting a phone in that one. That's
This
that's
one's
basically a
got
cardboard.
this one's got hand tracking.
No, that's basically Google Cardboard. And that one, look at the hinges. You can see
Oh, the
hinges.
hinge, yeah.
Vile.
The hinge means that you're
Vile.
definitely going to put a phone into it. Anyway,
Right,
go to your
so-
LinkedIn for more of them.
Yeah, so we're going to have to kind of sort of like start bringing it to a bit of a wind up now.
There's your
yeah,
Nerf t-shirt.
my Nerf t-shirt. You love that.
Jealous of that.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring this to a wind up because we're getting to the 50-minute mark. It's not going to be too long.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I just want to go through a couple of things. The HTC event was really good. We made some really good contacts, and we will be likely going to CES with our good friends at Pico, which is the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in January. Really excited for that one. And HTC are really keen to show off our fire investigation stuff. So that may be another winner for CES and River taking over CES.
Are we doing
2023.
another, what do we call it? IRL. We did an IRL last time in the pub.
I think we need to start getting the feelers out 100%.
So we can put that on LinkedIn then.
Yes,
In
definitely.
real life, Vegas, like we did last time with
Yeah.
Mr. Paul, Tesla Sue, and Alan Smithson.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you're out there or you're coming to CES, come and see us. We're happy to have a chat, show you what we
Pico-
do, and
Pico booth and Vive booth.
Alex will go off and do some scanning with you. I'm sure he'll find something to scan.
I'll be making a lot of content there. So maybe I won't be worthy enough to do Luma stuff, but I might be doing Polycam stuff.
Yeah. So let's round it up with the last thing. So yeah, we're off to Florida next Friday. That's going to be for a military simulation tech show, which is pretty cool. We get to go and show off some of the products that we do in VR to US military folk. We've been there for a good couple of years. Orlando. It's going to be the full week, the week after next, and we get to see some more domes that look shocking, and we'll just use VR instead of dome projector things. Blow up tanks.
We're there with Clarion Events, and we're going to be on the Clarion stand showing River Investigate and CSI, and we go there sort of every year with a technology partner for those guys. They have a stand that advertises their event, which is iTech in, I think it's September, probably next year. But we get to show off the content that we've been making, but also have a look at all the technology. There's always some really cool stuff there, like flight simulators and haptic gloves.
Yeah, we're going to go visit Vario, aren't we? And they're like one of the high-end, top-tier VR manufacturers. They create headsets that go into like the thousands of pounds. We talk to them on a regular basis as well, and they want to show us some of the things that they do in the world of simulation. So might get to fly Top Gun.
Oh, you'd like that in flight simulator world?
That'd be amazing. Awesome. So,
okay.
Yeah, is there anything else that you want to speak about, or are you pretty good for the overall second episode of the Rapid Capture podcast?
Well, I like the name. I think we've gone through, the name's quite cool. We've been through headsets. We've been through Polycam, Nerf. We definitely need to talk more about Nerf. Yeah. And I definitely want to talk more next week about historical preservation, the 4 projects that we've now got on in Warwick.
Yeah, we can do that. That's all part of what we're doing with this podcast, is to kind of go over a lot of the stuff that's current tech, future tech, and what can be done with it. I think that's the point, is that we're talking about capturing stuff. It's not just scans. We do video, we do immersive video, we do loads of stuff with technology brands like Canon, etc., etc. So, from that standpoint, we've got loads of fun stuff.
We could do a whole thing about cameras. We could do whole 360 cameras, the different types of reality immersive capture.
Yeah, and how 360 cameras are being pushed to the public at the moment is very much to be able to kind of do this reframing of flat video, which is, people don't realise you can actually use it in a VR headset, which is surprising. Very rarely do you get that, but that's for another podcast.
And things when Casey Neistat's talking about reframing Insta footage, and he's talking about it like it's brand new. I'm like, Ty was doing it 3 years ago.
Yeah, these things sort of just come back around, I think. So
it's mad.
Cool. Well, let's sign off. That was the Rapid Capture podcast, Rivers Rapid Capture podcast, episode 2. Thanks for joining us.
I better go and stop all my live streams.
Yeah. See you later.